you have times where you were, one or both of you was like, you know what, I'm sort of sick of this, or I don't want to keep going, or you sort of stayed passionate throughout?
There was time where, let's say I wanted to or I was busy doing things at work or family stuff or whatever and just wasn't as into it, then Jeff was behind the scenes writing, and then I would, I was so encouraged by I would open up our Google Doc that we were both contributing to, and holy cow, he wrote 3,000 words in the last 24 hours. I would never have been able to do that. So then to read it and oh, this sounds amazing. This is actually turning into a book.
I can guarantee you the book would not be done yet. I don't know if it ever would have gotten done, but that's where that partnership and that accountability comes in.
It's very easy, I think, to get in that headspace of well, who cares, who's going to read my book kind of thing, but you're writing it for you. Hi, everyone. I'm Jason Balara, and this is the Know Your Why podcast. Today, I'm here with Dillon and Ty Dannenbring. In a culture where garage doors close before neighbors can say hello and isolation is the norm, Party in the Front offers a radically simple solution: take life and community to the front yard. So I told you guys I like short guest bios because I really want you to tell your story. So I'll just start with thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for taking the time out to come in and share your stories with us. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate your time. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Thanks for having us, Jason.
Awesome. Well, let's start with get some background on each of you. There's two, so we'll have I'm sure some individual backgrounds, and then where it all comes together.
You want to start?
Sure. I've got a large family. My wife and I have 5 children, and we live in Colorado, Loveland to be exact, and Jeff as well. And I'm a financial advisor. That's my day job, and I have more of a creative side as well. That this book project has been really fun to kind of tap into. And I also love to play golf, and so being a financial advisor and golf go hand in hand for a lot of people. So it's been really fun to have a little bit more time to get on the golf course Monday through Friday if I can ever fit it in.
Yeah, I'm sure that is that really probably does go quite well together. I don't play golf at all. I'm terrible. I like the driving range, maybe Top Golf. That's my
there you go. There you
go.
But
yeah, it's I know that is a phenomenal networking, and I've recently heard pickleball is becoming the new the new thing. Haven't tried that either, but yeah, no, that's great.
Yep. So that's Ty. I'm Jeff, and I am a pastor here in Loveland, Colorado. So a small church in downtown Loveland, and my background, though, my college background, I got a degree in journalism. So I've always enjoyed writing, and I always joke that before this book project, most of my writing was sermons and church emails, which were really well written church emails that no one would read. But when Ty came to me with this idea, we can share more of that story. A few years back, it was like, yeah, I'd love to write a book. So that's kind of what got me into this. And I think, did you say you have 5 kids? Did you say? Yeah, I have 5 kids as well. So we both have amazing wives and big families. We are blessed, and just tons of time to write a book, with 10 kids right between us. We thought it was a great idea. Yeah.
But we're not like empty nesters. They're like 10 through 3. Actually, your youngest is 1. So
Yep.
Yeah. I have 2 kids, and I often think that is a lot. So when I have guests that have, more kids than me, even, I'm like, that's very, very powerful. So I think, let's talk about actually that, sort of connection, like what brought you together to do the book. I think your backgrounds, I think, sort of make sense maybe in the direction that we're heading. But yeah, let's talk about, kind of what brought you both together to have that idea and kind of what was the foundation of that.
Yeah, at the time, our families were at the same church, and I knew I wasn't going to actually write a book. I have a lot of ideas. I'm very much an idea person. So I usually need to build a team around some idea if it actually is going to happen. So when I submitted this idea to Jeff, he was all about it. And it's just been a really cool partnership to bounce ideas off of, to hold one another accountable for trying to get this accomplished. But so that's been now 3 years, and the book came out 2 months ago, and so we're just finally getting some good strides with some doors opening up.
Great.
Yeah, for me, I shared, Ty came to me with this idea of a book, Party in the Front, and this idea of bringing community to our front yards and to our neighborhoods. And so I was intrigued, both as a writer, an aspiring writer, a journalism background guy. And so I was intrigued on that front, but also this idea of building community and the party in the front really resonated with me, because my wife and I had just recently moved to a new house with our kids right before the COVID pandemic and everything got crazy. And we live on a little kind of private street off of the main street in our neighborhood. And so what happened when we moved to our new house is our kids suddenly wanted to be in the front yard all the time. They wanted to ride their bikes on this little private drive and do chalk art and do lemonade stands and all these things that honestly at first was a little uncomfortable. Like, oh man, it's kind of comfortable in the backyard, where no one can see you. But all of a sudden, especially during the COVID time period, we were just meeting and making connections with neighbors like we never had before. And so when Ty brought this idea of Party in the Front to me, I was like, man, yeah, that's a great concept. That's a great idea. It's a great title for a book. I love that too.
It is.
And so we jumped in. Yeah, we jumped in to start this process about 3 years ago now.
Okay. Tell us. So I'm gathering the book is not is it financial advisory? It's more about this like connection space. So I guess
nothing to do with finances.
Yes, you've got ideas in places outside of financial advisory. It sounds like. So
yes,
that's. I mean, the concept is great. It's an interesting thing that I'll fully admit, like I do tend to maybe, I don't know, be a keep to myself type of person in general, like around the house and
introverted.
And then our kids are young, 6 and 4 now, but they go to school like we walk them to school. We have our school is close enough in the neighborhood, and what's crazy to me is now, like when my son started a couple of years ago, like all of a sudden we met all of these families in our neighborhood. Literally one of his classmates lived in the house next to us.
Yeah.
And I might have seen her in passing like prior to this, but like now we're all friends. The kids play together. They come over and it's really nice. Like it's really nice to have like, you like walk through the neighborhood with a dog or whatever. And it's like, see people like, hey, how's it? And like to have those connections. So I mean, the name, the title's great. But the concept is very, very cool. How did you, what did you do? You have a journalism background, Jeff. Like, was there research that went into this? What's the kind of foundation of the book?
Yeah. I mean, I really, when Ty first came to me with the idea, we just kind of started from scratch and kind of whiteboarded, like, what could this book be about? And so we kind of had a general outline of where we wanted to go. And we knew for sure that we wanted to do some research and look at some of the cultural and sociological things that have changed over the last 30, 40, 50 years when it comes to meeting and connecting with our neighbors. Because, it's been very clear in our lives. We're both, I'm in my early 40s. Ty's a little bit younger. And so
but bald. So.
That's right. I'm old and bald, so I've got you both.
But like we grew up in this interesting time of the internet blowing up, and technology has just changed so much, and the iPhone, and like life has just changed so much just in our lifetime. Yeah. And we looked at our parents and kind of what life was like for them when they were younger, and then even going back to our grandparents, and just like this recognition that this idea of meeting and knowing and building community with the people around you used to be just kind of the norm. It was what people did. And now it feels so hard and so foreign. And for me personally, just something that's just not natural for me. And so we wanted to really address that and look at some of the external challenges to building community. And then as we got into the book more, what's really cool about writing a book is and that's why people tell you we did it backwards. People tell you shouldn't come up with a title until the book is written because you never know where the book's going to go. We stuck with the title, obviously, but the book did kind of take some different directions in terms of looking at also some of the internal challenges that we face to building community as well. Like, what is it that makes me want to pull into my house, close the garage, and not talk to anyone around me? And how do we overcome those things? So the book really kind of just morphed into what it is now and what it ended up being that I think kind of surprised us a little bit along the way.
Are you planning a remodel or construction project? Overwhelmed by the process? Over budget? Extended timelines? Strained relationships? We are all too familiar. At Lark Construction Services, we help homeowners and business owners take control of their construction journey, from reviewing bids and contracts to catching red flags before they become costly mistakes. Our Clarity Audit is a one-on-one expert review of your plans, estimates, or current progress, giving you the peace of mind and a defined action plan to move forward with confidence. Don't let confusion lead to costly errors. Visit larkconstruction.com and schedule your free call today. Lark Construction Services, saving you time, money, and stress.
I want to get into maybe the process, because I think a lot of people, well, not a lot of people write books. I think most of the time it's a person, like one person. They might have a ghostwriter. They might have someone who's helping them through the process. But when people combine to author something, I find that sort of fascinating. I always, way back when I had, a little garage band with my friends, and we were like really into music, loved all of that. One of the things, like people ask you, like, what would you ask? What would you want to ask, like, your heroes if you ever met them? And I remember, like, I was a huge Pearl Jam fan. And I always wanted to ask my favorite bands, I wanted to ask them, like, what's your process? Like, how do you come together? Cause I knew what we did. So, and it was like, I don't know, I was like, are we doing it right kind of thing? But I always wondered about that. And I have that sort of same question with you two. Like, how do you write a book together? I understand, like, Jeff, your journalism background maybe makes you the writer, but the ideas and the like pieces that go, how did you guys work together on that?
Yeah, we learned so much. I mean, we both came into this hardly with any connections in that world at all. And so it started, like we said, 3 years ago, and very much concept driven. And then I think what I would encourage someone right from the get-go is, like, is this something that you could stick with for 2 to 3 years? Because unless you have a team and that's what you do, and just like, or like someone gives you a sabbatical from work and you can just afford time-wise to do that, like, right. you just, it's going to take a while. And so can you trust that this is a topic that you want to keep writing about in 2 to 3 years? And, like, do you have a strong conviction about it? And we both did. And we also came to the conclusion, I think early on, like, whether one person reads this or 100,000, like, this is going to benefit us as dads. This is going to benefit us as families, and hopefully the people we live around, just by us, like, it being mindful, being more top of mind. And so getting back to the process question, we started honestly just as like almost like a prayer group. Like, once a week we just kind of meet and just kind of process this and just throw ideas out, pray about things. And then it turned into, like, hey, this is the outline we feel like we want to lay out. And then we started to have a couple of deadlines, like, hey, let's try to get in the next month, like, a intro in chapter 1 or whatever it was. Like, we had some clear deadlines to keep us accountable. And then once we had kind of a basic book that I think at the time was probably about 22,000 words, and the book ended up being about, I think, 33,000, maybe a little bit more. Then that first draft, we sought out an editor, and she just she walked us through like some of the main things, and then we were like, okay, we have something. She encouraged us. She's been a part of projects before, so we got like the thumbs up from someone that actually knows what they're talking about.
Right.
So then, and just because of her timelines and her normal day job, we had to shift gears, but it actually worked great because then we got new ideas from someone else, so that we moved to a more full-time editor, and then where did it go from there?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was what was cool is like we just kind of kept taking every step at a time, and I think what to your point, Jason, like what was really unique about us writing this book together is that there was definitely some accountability in that of like helping each other move forward and not give up, because that's what you hear from so many people who have started a book, right, and never finished it, right, never got it across the finish line. And we were just really determined, like we're going to get this thing across the finish line. Again, whether one person reads it or a million. And so there was a lot of back and forth and encouragement and ideas. And where I'm kind of the primary writer, Ty is he's the connection man. And so he's just always connecting with people. And so our editors and different people that we met along the way, Ty was so good about getting us connected to those things and to those people. And right towards the end, he got us connected with a publishing company called Story Builders, based in Georgia. And they were interested in helping us publish the book. And so really right at the end, he was like, okay, like we've already had an editor, we've had some people speak into this, but now here's a publisher that can really help us get it across the finish line and make it as good as it possibly can be. And so we were excited to work with them. And so, it was really a process of like just taking a step at a time and bouncing things off of each other, working together, making those connections. And then here we are, books out there in the world.
Yeah, that's great. And congratulations to you both for getting that done. The accountability piece, I think, it's really important. I mean, we've talked about it on this podcast. It's in the past, it's a big piece for me that I think you almost have to actively put accountability in place on a lot of things. Like I think writing a book is a very hard, because it's like, unless you already have a book deal and someone's waiting for books to come out, like there is necessarily no inherent pressure or timeline to get it done other than what you kind of impose on yourself. And so, having that accountability between the two of you, I'm sure was huge. I think it's like, I mean, people start things all the time, right? Like I think the classic example is like going to the gym. We're about to come into the new year. Gym memberships are going to skyrocket, but by February and March, 75% of those people won't be going to the gym anymore. And like that's very common. I avoid that drop off by having a trainer, and I have appointments with him. So it's like I know if I didn't have that, like I've put that accountability, like I do that for accountability as much as I do to like have a workout made for me or a spotter or whatever. Like I just like to put those pieces in place. And so, you mentioned you had that between the two of you, and you set those deadlines, and then you start to bring in other people. But it's like you said, Ty, the idea is you got to commit to this for several years. And I think that's another thing that people often either overlook or just don't have the staying power, because it's probably most good things that are worth doing take years, if not decades. And so the willingness to kind of stick through that, you really need it. Did you have times where you were, one or both of you was like, you know what, I'm sort of sick of this, or I don't want to keep going, or you sort of stayed passionate throughout?
I think that, it probably ebbed and flowed a little bit, where there was time where, let's say I wanted to or I was busy doing things at work or family stuff or whatever, and just wasn't as into it. Then Jeff was behind the scenes writing. And then I would, I was so encouraged by, like, I would open up our Google Doc that we were both contributing to, and like, holy cow, he wrote like 3,000 words in the last 24 hours. Like I would never have been able to do that. So then to read it and like, oh, this sounds amazing. Like, this is actually turning into a book. So like those sort of little wins along the way were so huge. And I think maybe, something that I added along the way was like, hey, Jeff, I talked to this person and they potentially want to do a podcast, or I found this potential, publisher, or, whatever it was. Like there were just so many different ways that I was trying to connect behind the scenes. And so hopefully that was encouraging to him along the way too.
Yeah, it was. And I think, for me, I think it was less like starting to be disinterested in it, and more, I think what I could struggle with, and I could see other people struggling with, and I think certainly that this relates to your gym analogy as well, Jason, is like, it's sort of the self-doubt of, man, should I even be doing this? Like, is this even going to be worth it? Is
Imposter
anyone
syndrome,
going to,
maybe.
a little imposter syndrome, and just feeling like, man, like, why am I investing so much time into this thing that probably no one's going to care about, and you just hear those voices along the way, and it's easy to feel like I should just go back to my 9 to 5 and focus on my other things. And again, as dads with young families and full lives, I think it would have been easy. I think if I was doing this project solo, I can guarantee you the book would not be done yet. I don't know if it ever would have gotten done, but that's where that partnership and that accountability comes in, and encouragement. And yeah, it was so cool. Like Ty said, there was times where, Ty would just shoot me an article or something that he found, and it was like, oh man, that's so helpful. That would fuel me to keep writing or go a different direction with things. Right in the middle of writing in 2023, the government released a report on the epidemic, what they call the epidemic of loneliness in the United States. So all of a sudden we got this like government report with all this data and everything that was talking about exactly what we're writing a book about. So there was just these things that we were able to find and share that kind of like kept us going one step at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's these companies out there now that'll like help you write a book. And I've been approached by a couple just like, and I immediately I'm like, what, who cares? Like nobody wants to read about me or my story. Like I was like, why would you do that? And I mean, it's a business for them, so I get it. But at the same time, it's like, it's very easy, I think, to get in that headspace of like, well, who cares? Who's going to read my book kind of thing. But I think you said it, Ty, like you have to do, you're writing it for you, right? You're right. If nobody reads it, you're writing it for you and your family and that sort of thing. So I think I feel like I've heard that from other authors. I've heard that, you hear that in the music world. It's like, I don't write music for fans to connect with. I write music that I like. And thankfully like the big artists, like thankfully people like it too. So it and everybody has different ideas. So it's like, you can't necessarily pick and choose who's going to like your stuff. So I think just like a really good mindset space that you both like used going into this and going through the process. It sounds like, do you have some, I guess, some messages or sort of high level things that you want people to understand about the book that you got out of reading the book? I mean, I know the report you're talking about, that epidemic of loneliness. Like I do think people are at least aware of it. So maybe give us a little bit of like a teaser on the book and what people might get out of reading it to help with that very real problem.
Yeah, and I don't know if we addressed even the subtitle of the book. It's Overcome Loneliness and Build Community Right Where You Are. And so when pertaining to kind of real estate, like actual physical real estate where we're living, I think one takeaway as we were writing this is like, are we using our homes or wherever we're living as a tool to gather people? Are we using that as a tool to serve people? Or is it maybe people are not even trying to do this, but is it like a weapon toward ourselves? Like, are we just shutting people off? Is it just a safe place that we can go to and just shut ourselves off from the world? And, as we looked into some of the research and just culturally, some of the shifts that were made, especially during COVID, like Zoom wasn't a thing in 2019 really, and then it definitely was for most business people or people working from home. You look at even just the shift of how people are going to the marketplace and buying things on Amazon, or almost every grocery store now has like a huge part of their business model is deliveries,
Right.
and or people, we address in the book how the church has shifted, and how honestly how the church has not done a great job culturally helping people to connect, and so people are watching church online now, and a lot of these things are not like, they're not bad at all. Like it's wonderful that we have all these options, but there is a cost to that, and if we're not careful, then that's why we've got a shift in loneliness and or toward loneliness. And so, yeah, how can we use where we're living as a tool to serve people and to gather people?
Yeah, I think, kind of high level, really, that idea of loneliness really became, I think, the why of our book, actually. Even though we started off focusing, and the book very much is about building community. It is about the party in the front. It is practical ideas for how you can engage with the people around you. But I think the why really became loneliness for us. And especially as we did some of the research, and that report from the U.S. Surgeon General came out, it was like just some eye-opening things. I think the reports are like 50% of U.S. adults report feeling lonely on a regular basis. Like half of the people around us feel lonely regularly. Many of the people listening right now probably experience loneliness at some level. And then I think, another statistic was about 60% of Americans say they never have any meaningful interactions with their neighbors, like never any sort of meaningful interaction. And so, and then the real eye-opening one that we always talk about from the U.S. Surgeon General is that they found in their studies, and just looking at how loneliness affects health, that significant loneliness is more dangerous, is more damaging to our health, our physical health, than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And I don't even know how they figured that out, but
how do you do that research study?
Exactly. That seems like a deep thing, but the reality is like loneliness is hurting people, is killing people, is damaging our culture in so many ways. And so I think as we started to write it again, it was like, yeah, this is about community. This is about connections. This is about fun. This is about a lot of different things. But at the heart, like, why is this important? It's because people are lonely. And we come at it from a biblical, spiritual perspective. But I think from whatever perspective you come from, there's this recognition that like we are people who need each other. We need relationships. We need connections. That's just who we were made to be. And so I think that really quickly became the why, and is the overall theme of the book, is that there's a problem here, and we believe that there's some practical and significant solutions that actually aren't that hard to begin to implement. So that's what the book's about.
Yeah. But I mentioned that you said the neighbor statistic, and it's true. I mean, it's like I am sort of inclined to be introverted and stick to myself and get through my day and whatever. But yep. I think I'm thankful for our kids. Like our kids, I've learned a lot from them about how it's like pretty cool to have joy and play with your friends and like go out into the world and all of that. Like they just, we do play in the front yard. People walk by, hi, they're waving and saying hi. Like half the people have headphones in and don't hear them, but it's like, right. There's just, it is, to the point about, Zoom being so prevalent and deliveries and all, it is really easy actually to be isolated now. It's really easy. Like you don't have to leave your house. Like, especially if you could work from home, like you don't have to leave your house. You can have everything delivered. You can, never interact with people, but it is. And I mean, social media and like texting bring about a different level of communication that wasn't a thing when I was a kid. Like if I wanted to talk to someone, I had to see them or talk to them on the phone. Like, and that even even on the phone, like wasn't that easy. It wasn't like you were tied to the wall. You couldn't use it wherever you
Right.
were. So it's like
Right.
the things that we have from a technology standpoint, which are amazing and allow us to accomplish a lot, also I think in a lot of ways can take away from our ability to have the interactions and avoid loneliness. And I think like my perspective here on what you're talking about is I would just tell people like, give it a shot, because actually it's pretty nice. Like as someone who like really does is sort of naturally inclined to, sort of fold everything inside. Like even this podcast, like I did not want to do a podcast. 100% was against it. I'm not doing it. Like I was encouraged by a few people, like from a business perspective, that you had to do a podcast because it's like the new business card and all of that. And I was like, fine. And I did not like it for a while. And now we're, close to 500 episodes. And I'm like, I love these conversations now. And it's like, I'm not out in my front yard meeting my neighbors, but sort of I am. Like I'm meeting people and getting to talk to them about what's important to them. And so I just think it's finding things, again, like now it's like when the kids want to have play dates or friends over, I'm like, yeah, who do you like? I asked my wife, like, let's grill. Who are we going to invite of all the friends? Like get all the moms to like get on your mom chat and like, let's have people over and use our house. Like you said. So I love the concept. And I can tell you, I probably, 5-6 years ago would have been like, I don't like this idea. Like I had to kind of surrender to the thought of being a little more open and letting people in and all of that. So I love it. I love the title. I love the concept of the book. I think it's really very needed in this, in the society that we have right now, which is like so good for so many things from a technology standpoint, but some of that makes us lose on the other end in the interpersonal relationships. So it's pretty cool. Well, Jeff, you were talking about kind of the why of your book. I always ask my guests, what the main question is, what is your why? And I would say, understanding what you've stated as the book, but I want to give each the chance to kind of, and the chance to answer that question, individually, and kind of what drives you, and maybe there'll be more books.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think again, I'm a pastor, and so I have a deep belief of that God has created us for community, and just that we need each other. We need to love the people around us, love our neighbors, and we need love from them, and I'm so glad that you brought up the introverted reality, Jason, because I consider myself an extroverted introvert. I don't know if that's a real thing, but that's what I call myself, because certainly being in ministry and just in what our lives look like, I'm around people a lot, and I enjoy being around people, and I can be around people. But I would much rather most of the time just be by myself, right? Or just our family. And I recharge from being alone, which is hard in a house full of 7 people. I'm learning. But I think I'm growing and realizing, like you said, like there's such a gift, like there's such a blessing and a benefit to making those connections with people around you. And I've had people say things like, man, like I haven't been invited over to someone's house in years, and you guys welcomed me in, and I felt so at home, or neighbors that come over when we're doing a fire pit in the front yard and just making s'mores, and they're like, we've never seen this in any neighborhood we've ever lived in before. Like, what are you doing? Like, who are you? And it's just incredible to see it. And like, those things aren't that hard, and I think we build it up sometimes like, man, we have to really be ready and kind of put on this front of what our lives are like, and actually just letting people engage with where we are, who we really are, being authentic. That's where connections and real relationship begins. And so, so for me, my why is honestly that this doesn't come naturally to me. This is not who I would choose to be on a regular basis in my own flesh. But I think this is something that is incredibly important and needed both for the people around me, the lonely people around me, but I need it too. And so I really wrote from that perspective of like, this isn't easy for everyone. And so there's grace, but also I think there's a challenge for us of like taking that first step towards other people. And then once you do, you realize it's worth it. And then you're encouraged to want to keep doing it and inviting the people over when you grill and like, sure, kids, like have your friends over, and it starts to become easier. And there are still days, there are definitely still times where I'm like, nah, I just need some alone time. And I don't think anything's wrong with that. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think sometimes us introverts need to recharge. So it's not all the time, but yeah, hey, once a week, can you make a connection with the people around you? And it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Don't worry, great. Jeff. I'm not going to backyard shame you if you need to go take a break.
What are you doing in the backyard?
I was knocking on the window.
Get out here.
Stop being an introvert.
Remember?
That's right. And my why, I think that's a great question. And I think a lot of my life I lived from a place of trying to like earn things. And now I'm trying to remind myself of what's already been done. And again, kind of, we wrote this from a Christian perspective. So for us as Christians, we believe that like, hey, Jesus has actually paid the price for us, and we can be motivated to love people from knowing that. We don't want to add one more thing to people's plate, be like, hey, go party in the front, even if you don't want to, or go do something that you just have no desire to do. Like, we do think that there are benefits to what we're preaching in this book. But you can't give what you don't have. And so I think my why is to be able to actually share what has been done in my life, and to then hopefully be a blessing to other people. And, immediately it was like, hey, I want to be a blessing to my wife and our children by leading better, and to show them an example in a time when, screen time is a real thing we have to monitor, for families and kids, and there are real ramifications to that. But if we can show our kids like actually how to interact with people that maybe don't see politically the same as us, or if they can know that, hey, our neighbor's kind of a jerk or whatever, and like, but we can love them through that. Like, I want that to be the motivation, that what's already been done for me, I can share that with others. So
yeah, that's great. I love it. So when people hear this and they want to connect, or they want to get the book, what's the best way for them to reach you guys, reach the book?
Yeah, Instagram is such a great tool in that, like, we can actually interact with random people and be encouraged by them, and hopefully encourage them too. So I think primarily Instagram, and we have a Facebook page as well. Our handle for Instagram is @PartyInTheFrontBook. And hopefully we'll keep putting out some encouraging content for people and share some ideas. But yeah, again, we'd love to hear if there are people doing some of these things too, and what has worked. I know that people have done like soup nights where they'd go from house to house and have different soups, and like what's that word? Progressive dinner in the neighborhood.
I wasn't gonna find that word. I'm glad you found it.
So yeah, sharing ideas. Where else can they find us, Jeff?
Yeah, our book is on Amazon, so you can order Party in the Front now. Just search Party in the Front on Amazon, and we have the physical book you can order, as well as a Kindle version. So that's out there, easy to find. And yeah, Instagram has been a ton of fun, just to connect with people. And yeah, we, as Ty said, we love hearing ideas from other people and what they're doing. We've heard some epic ideas from people. Like one of my favorites that always stands out is one couple that shared like their neighborhood would do these like massive neighborhood Nerf wars. And like one side of the street would have all their Nerf stuff lined up. The other side has theirs. And then they'd go at it and see who won, and parents and kids would get involved. And so we just love hearing ideas like that encourage us and inspire us. And so find us on Instagram. Party in the Front Book is probably the best way to connect.
Yeah, great. We'll get all that in the show notes. It's this stuff is so. I actually do think the Instagram is a great place for essentially like brainstorming these types of ideas. Like you mentioned the soup dinner thing. And, I mean, I have to give her credit. One of my friends, Emily, if you listen to this, I'm sure you probably don't, but she does all this stuff in her neighborhood, and I always have like, she tells me about it and I kind of laugh, and it's like she's like puts on these things for like her kids and like the whole neighborhood, and they do like a screen out in the middle of the cul-de-sac with like a movie night, and she makes a bunch of popcorn and all of this, and I'm like, it's actually really great ideas, and and it's just like, but you know, that again, that introvert tries to creep in, but like the stuff is, it's just smart and like it's really fun and just in a nice, easy way to like enjoy spending time together with people. Like it's just kind of, so it's crazy. I really do like the concept. It's great.
Thanks for the encouragement, Jason.
Yeah. Well, thank you both for being here. This has been a fantastic conversation. I can't say enough about how much I love this concept. So thank you for coming on the show and sharing it. I really do appreciate your time.
Thank you for having us, Jason. Really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you for letting us share our why. Because it's a good reminder for us of why we're doing this. So thank you.
Yeah. And well, folks listening, make sure you connect with Ty and Jeff and check out the book. Please like, rate, and review the show so we can continue to get great guests. And as always, thank you for listening.
Hey there, I am Dr. Jason Balara, and this is the Know Your Why podcast, where we explore the why behind success. Every week, I meet with real estate investors, veterinary entrepreneurs, mindset coaches, authors, and fitness professionals to uncover their why and how it drives them on the winding road to success. What is your why?